Hello, everybody. So I'm gonna do a one-off stream today, just prepping for my fall garden, making sure I have what I need. Welcome everybody in. This will be a one-off live stream, and what I'm gonna do today is pretty much go in and see if and make sure that I have everything that I possibly need to start my fall garden. I have about 11 weeks until our first frost where we live. A lot of people can say we're in garden zone 7A. And I'm just going to go through, do some talking today. You may or may not do a fall garden, but if you do, feel free to ask any questions. Yes, Rich, live on a Saturday. Gonna take it easy today, do some walking around, show you what I have, what I do to prepare. If you come in, just say hello. Give me a thumbs up if you are in the stream this morning or this afternoon. It's actually afternoon now. And I'm just going to go through and talk about what I do first. And one of the things I thought about yesterday, 11 weeks until we have our first frost, is do I have all the materials that I need and do I need to order anything? So I hate to start something and then not be prepared. So here's one of the things that we're going to do today is just go through. I have a checklist in my head of the things that I need, um, and see if I have everything. One of the things that I want to test out today, and I'll pretty much show you, is I'm going to do some seeds. I'm sitting at the table here. Take these out. These are little containers that I do seedlings in. Um, I put soil in them, so I'm going to use some big containers, some small containers, but then I use these trays. I have different size trays I'm going to put on. I'm going to have lights that I have on them. This helps me better bottom water any seedlings that I may have and see what I could do. So bottom watering just basically means I'm going to pour the water in the tray, sit the containers in, and I have a few of these. I did check yesterday, and one of the other most important things that I have is um, I go through and I actually ordered some seeds this year. Now I have seeds, and I'm going to show you my inventory of seeds. But a few of the things that I want to plant this go around is for my fall planting is I want to make sure that I have collard greens, and for this one I ordered seeds. I was up late one night. If you're in the stream, come in and say hello. I was ordering late one night, so I knew that I want collard greens. And what I did was I got different varieties. So I have Vates collards, champion collards, which I've never grown before. And one of the popular ones is Georgia Southern collards. So I do know that I have enough collard green seeds. For myself, and I'm going to plant for a few other people, and I do sell some of my seedlings, so I have my collard green seeds ready. If you're in the chat, just make sure you come in and say hello. I do see a lot of people in this morning. Thank you for joining. And another thing that I want to do is I wanted to make sure that I had enough of kale. So some people use kale for like smoothies. Some people use kale to eat because they are impartial to collard greens. So we have these the blue curly kales, and then the last thing I call them dinosaur kale. So I have kale in here, and I'm a true Southern girl at heart, so I do like different variety types of mustards here. And again, I got these seeds from MI Gardener. It's just a website that I order a lot of seeds from, so I know that they're pretty reliable. I eat turnips. I'm from the South, so I have some purple top turnips here, and got my mustards here. And one of the things that I also like to make are cabbage. So cabbages are staples in a lot of people's gardening. Yuck. Rich, why would you say yuck? I don't know what you're saying yuck to. So cabbages I make. And one of the things that I really liked last year, this actually reminds me of spinach a little bit, is this pak choi white stem cabbage. So it's like one of the Asian greens. And I love pak choi. This is pak choi is more, in my opinion, it's like a very sweet cabbage. Kind of reminds me a lot of spinach. So these are a few things that I planted, and because I know that I'm on the way to fall, and I know that I had some cabbages freaking gross. Oh my goodness. So I love it. And it, like I said, it's everybody to each his own. So one of the things that I also have is I had a problem with my cucumbers this time. So they're up off the ground, but I'm going to pop a few seeds of cucumbers to see if maybe I can get another harvest of cucumbers while the soil is very, very warm. Um, so, Jay, where are you from? Thank you for joining us today. Cabbage every day, lettuce, no thank you. I have an issue growing lettuce. Cucumbers are delicious. So Jay says cucumbers are delicious. So if you're in the chat, come in today. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you're growing. If you have a garden and if you're growing anything for the fall. Alexandria, Virginia. Jay, you're in Texas. Okay, okay. So you got some pretty warm climates there. And so here's what I'm gonna do. So I gave you just seeds that I bought, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to twist you over, give me a thumbs up this morning if you see me. So if you see, I'm gonna walk right over to my seeds over here, and I have, as you can see, a lot of seeds at my house. And one of the things that I do is I'm gonna bring this right on over, and yeah, understatement for what? That it's very hot there. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this up, and you'll see I labeled everything. I use these to keep my seeds year over year. I'm gonna go in, take inventory, see what I already have. So I know that I'm going into the fall. So I already have a bunch of collard green seeds already. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's very hot and humid in Alexandria, Texas. So I notice that I have a lot of collard green seeds in here already, Georgia Southern. And then one of the things that I did is I'm actually from South Carolina, but I live in New Jersey. And my grandmother had a whole bunch of what she calls blue max collard greens. So I'm going to try to plant some today. She let some go to seed the last time I was there. And on Wednesday, when I do my regular live stream, so if you're here today, subscribe so that you get notifications. On Wednesdays, I go live, and I'm going to try to start some of these actual planning. But today, I'm really just taking inventory and seeing what I have. So I have a Vates collards, Blue Max collards, Georgia Southern collards, and I'm going to take these out of my little bin here, and just so that I have inventory. So Swiss chard, I've actually made this before. I'll saute it on the stove. I don't really make it a lot because I don't feel like I make it properly, and I don't really like the bitter taste. But I am going to make some Swiss chard for a friend of mine. I think him and his family might like it. So I'm going to have this. I have ruby red Swiss chard. I have the green Swiss chard. So I have a lot of different varieties of Swiss chard. And then, of course, I have turnips, kale, mustards here, cabbage. And one of the things that I didn't order was broccoli. So I haven't been very successful with broccoli, but I just keep trying because I figure one day I have to end up being successful one day. So, and then I have kohlrabi. I don't like kohlrabi. Um, I'll let someone else try it, but I don't like it in particular. Oh, I do. I love food. So Jay says he loves my positivity and love for food. I love a lot of Southern food. So being in the North, sometimes you don't get a lot of things. So what you'll notice in your local supermarkets in the North, they'll sell collard greens and they're all chopped up and they're in these bags. But there's nothing like growing your own food because it tastes so much more different, especially when your frost hits. When frost hits greens like these type of vegetables in the fall, it makes them sweeter. Okay. Thank you so much, Jay. So he says, I'm already a success in his book. So I'm going to put this one away. Actually, I'm not. So toward the end of the summer, going into the fall, some people have success with beets. I've never been successful with beets, but like I said, I'm just going to keep trying until I get it done. So I have my beets here. And those are things that I'm going to take out of this bin. All right. So other than seeds, there are a lot of things that we need in particular for that we need for, starting season line. I'm going to just move the camera around just a little bit so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to sit you here because I want to make sure that my lights still work. So um, when you do fall gardening and you plant your seeds ahead of time, you just want to make sure that you have the right seeding system. So I have what we call grow lights. They're from Nanotech. A few years ago, I purchased a um, super seed sprouter. So it has like the bottom base where you water. It has the grow lights, but I want to make sure that these LED lights in particular still have juice in them. So I'm just gonna just give it a quick plug in, and then I just turn it on. I test all my lights out. So this one still works. They're gonna help me out. So I'm gonna test a few more of them. I have a lot of different lights here. I'm gonna just make sure I test them all out. If you have a super sproutle system or a light system that you use, type in the chat what you're using for your lights. This one still works. Okay. Okay. Where are my other lights? So I have the lights here. I'm taking inventory of how many trays I have. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 trays here. I'm gonna come back over here, grab some more of my lights. So, Jay, I'm not sure if you're still with me. Can you tell me if you grow your own garden? Let's see. Try to grab these as I go. Sit you down here. I think I could just leave you in place for a while. So, like I said, I have a lot of different light systems. So this is one that I could clip onto my shelf system over here. So I'm just going to check, make sure they all work. All right, so this one has different colors, which you can use for different things. You can turn the lights up and down, different colors. I'll just be using the white. Turn these off. So I know that this one works. And I know that, let's see, got to make sure that these work here. Okay. Go in. Oh, these little things help connect my light systems together. So let's say that I have trays one beside another. I can just simply hook these in rather than having multiple plugs, which can be an issue. I hook these in and they make them work together. But like I said, I'm going to come in and make sure that all the lights work. I think I have extra plugs in here. I don't know what side it, okay, this side, input. So, okay, so this one works. I could turn it off. Okay, thank you, Rich. And one of the, you'll see the big, or you might not see the big outlet down there. That outlet is programmed and on a timer so that whenever the seedlings do come up, I can time it so that I don't consistently have to waste energy. I could time it to where the lights turn on and off by itself, and all I have to do is come out and check it. So here's another connector that I have that I purchased one time. Here are more lights. And I don't think I'm gonna have to use all the lights this year because I'm not gonna overdo it, at least hopefully, hope not overdo it. Okay. Hopefully I don't have to buy any bulbs this year. All right, so we made sure that every single light that we have works. I'm just gonna sit them in the chair. And another thing I have to do is make sure I clean out the top of these. So what this is, let me show you. This is part of the super seed sprouter system. So once you get all your seeds planted in, they have like the little ventilation trays. You can see the little sockets here. Hello, true big brother. If you come in, say hi, tell me where you're from. Do you have a garden? So these ventilation things help me keep the plants or the seedlings ventilated. I'm going to come in, wipe all of these out. They go on top of the black trays. And then as you can see, there's like a little indentation here. And this is where I sit the lights. So where I'm going to sit the lights, let me turn you a little bit, is on this shelf over here, closer to the door. I'm going to clean off these shelves here, and I'm going to put my seed systems up top and on this row. So I'm going to clean it out. You can see I have a lot of different garden supplies here. But once I count off how many plants I'm going to do, in addition to the different varieties, I'll probably group them together in the various different trays. So I have a total of about 4 of the tops. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in each of the 4, I counted off yesterday. I'm not going to use the super small seedling trays. I'm going to use the bigger ones. So I'll show you what I mean when I say the bigger ones. So there's this size where there's 4 cells in here. And I'm going to fill it with whether it's some seed starter mix, or I like to use these where my water's right here. I got it. I like to use these type of trays. And then inside of these trays, I can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. So I could sit 12 inside of here. So this is 12 of the 6. So that's a lot of plants inside of one big thing. And then I could just separate them as I go along. So I'm going to listen to Mr. Rich in the chat. Hydrate a little bit. And like I said, on Wednesday is when I will be trying to start majority of my plants. I'm 11 weeks until my first frost date. So if you want to tune in while I'm actually planting some of the seeds out, please subscribe, drop me a like so that I know that this is the type of content that you like to see. And this video will be saved now, so you can always go back and refer to it so you can know exactly what it is that you may need to start seeds if you've never done so before. So one of the things that I use to start my seeds is, if I could just get it under here, is what I'll do is I have this little plastic container here. So a frost date is basically when the temperatures drop so much to it's almost like freezing, and then what a frost will kill your plants. So a lot of the summer plants like squash, cucumbers, peppers, they can't take a frost, right? So I'll give a technical definition at a later time, but what I have here is the little seed starting cubes. And what I do is I soak them with hot boiling water, and it gives me a lot of different, it'll break down so that I have enough soil or organic matter to actually put in the trays so that the root systems can grow in. So I have both this burpee seed starting mix, but I also use, these are like bricks of soil. They're condensed down. And then I also use organic coconut core mix. This is what I use mostly. So it's worked for me for years. And I try different things and both work very well to me. So You pick and choose. You can Google which one is better. For me, I'm indifferent. Either one, I think I like all right. So on Wednesday, you'll see me. I will have this already broken down. One of them, it'll already be broken out and ready for planting. So I know that I have my seed starting mix. I know I have the container for it to go in. I know that I have the seeds. Um, so trying to think of what else that I may possibly need. One of the things that a lot of people don't know they should use or may not use, you don't really need it, but I like to use this little tool. I don't know what it's called. I call it a little hole poker. But for these small seeds, you don't really need to poke a hole and like bury them deep, because then they'll get lost and then they won't sprout. It'll be too much soil on top. So what I do is I kind of just like move it around, and I just make sure that the soil have good connection with the, I don't know what that is that you clipped in there, but okay. So I use this to go in and help me plant my seeds. Sometimes I wear gloves, sometimes I don't. So you could be impartial to that. So I know I have ample gloves. I'm going to have water. I have an extra container of water off to the side to make sure I have enough water in the bottom of the tray. So this actual tray is you look, it's deep enough to where I could put water in the bottom, right? So if I bottom water my plants, and all bottom watering is that you just pour water in the bottom so that you don't have to spray water directly on top of your seedlings, because you don't want them to go too far deep down into the tray. So the way this works is I'll hold this here. So you have your seeds in the tray, and you put this on top of it. So it looks like a whole system. And then, like I said, the light goes down and across the top, and you just turn it on. A few things that I also have are heat mats, but I'm on my sun porch and I have a thermometer out here, so it gets pretty hot during the summertime. If it ever gets very cool at night, I will turn on what I have, some heat mats. Give me 1 second, I'll grab one. So if you have your seeds on the inside, you may want to use a heat mat. So I use different heat mats, and it gives you different information on it. So I use a heat mat if I take any of them inside where it's cool with air conditioning and things like that. So I'll use a heat mat on the inside, not necessarily on an outside, um, to help germinate the plant. So a lot of these plants, they germinate better with very warm soil, but I'm assuming that on this sun porch, it should get pretty warm. So for example, right now on the sun porch, it's about 89 degrees. But the good thing about me being on the sun porch is it's hotter outside, and I have two doors here. And so I get the wind that's blowing directly through. And I like that it's breezy back here. I like that it's inside. And I like that I'm not contesting with bugs or animals or birds or anything. Um, so, yeah. Um, One of the things that I also have is I have liquid fertilizer for when the seeds sprout. So I'm gonna pretty much, if I had my pen and paper out here, before I even start my seeds, I try to figure out how much space I'm gonna have in my actual garden, in addition to how many of which plant I'm gonna plant. So for me, like I said, I'm more of a collard green girl. So I'll be planting rows and rows of collard greens. Um, well, not rows and rows, because my gardening space is very small. So um, I'll have rows of collard greens. I like kale. And like I said, I'm going to take a shot at broccoli. But one new thing that I'm going to do is try to grow a lot, or not a lot, a decent amount of plants inside of containers right outside my sun porch, where I used to have a planter's bench. So we got rid of the planter's bench because we had groundhogs that were crawling up underneath it and then digging and going up underneath the house. We've remediated that problem. So now there's no planter's bench, but I have plenty of garden space to put containers on the backside of the house. And on the backside is where I'm free to grow any edible plant that I want. So on the backside, I'll be growing, I'll probably put mainly cabbages inside of the containers because it's one cabbage per container and they can branch out pretty large. So I don't want that necessarily in my garden. So that's just my strategy in my head, is to grow the things that I think are going to be too big for my garden inside the containers. And I'll probably also put the broccoli inside of the containers. I do have two long containers that I'll more than likely put like turnips inside of, maybe lettuce. I don't really like to grow fall lettuce, but I may grow some lettuce. So if you're in the channel today, make sure you tell me where you're from. Do you have a garden? Make sure you subscribe. I appreciate everybody for supporting me on this good Saturday because, like I said, I don't normally stream on Saturdays. I'm normally a very early Wednesday morning person. So I'm just taking it the it's not necessarily cow manure, it's compost, and I may or may not use it for the fall garden because I know of a different type of compost I'm going to use, and I also do some of my own compost. So we'll see. And plus, I wouldn't necessarily have that on my back sun porch because it might smell. So Rich, I hope that answers your question. Also, in the garden, I will refresh my beds as I pull plants out from my summer spring garden. I will be refreshing it. I'll do a deep fertilizer, and you can buy it from any garden store. I use any fertilizer that's organic and has an NPK level of 10 10 10. So after I pull out some plants, I'll go in, I'll tussle up the soil a little bit, make sure it's nice and loose for when I start my fall planting. And what I do is I go in a few days before I start planting and I'll fertilize the soil. I'll drop some eggshells down and I will fertilize the soil at least 2 or 3 days before, water it in. And then when I'm ready to plant my seeds in the garden, my seedlings, because by then they should be, a couple inches tall, or hopefully we get some pretty decent seedlings, they'll be ready to go into the garden. So if anybody in the live stream grows anything, please let me know. I'd love to hear what you all are growing. Like I said, there are some things that I have trouble with and I just keep trying, and that is beets. So the type of beets that I have here, I'm actually going to look on the back of the seed packs to see how long. So there's like a 50-day to harvest, 59-day to harvest. This one doesn't say 5 to 6. So I should do this one 5 to. This is an indoor beet. And I may even try to put some beets in some containers. So a lot of people juice beets. That's what I would like to do to them. Some people roast beets. I mean, like I said, I'm going to keep trying. So I know I have the beets here. I don't really eat kohlrabi. I saw it online and I decided I was going to try to grow it one day. Don't really think it's my jam. So we'll see what happens there. And, like I said, I have turnips and rutabaga. So a rutabaga is something that I learned about from down south. Like I said, I grew up down south, and I had one of my, was it great aunts or great aunts, used to grow rutabagas, and she used to cook them with greens, and when they were delicious, right? So we like to eat things that we grew up on. But for one of the things that I'm going to do now is I'm going to put away my basil, and because I'm not going to grow any more of that for the fall, although I probably could drop in some seeds and get a harvest. But like I said, I'm going to put some extra cucumber seeds out. I'm actually just, so 55 to 65 days to harvest. If I drop them in today, hi, Billy Clancy, good afternoon. If I drop these, where are you from, Billy? If I drop these cucumber seeds in today, there's a good chance that I'll be able to get some cucumbers before the frost hits. So I'm very hopeful for that because, like I said, my cucumbers didn't do as great. And I think that's nobody's fault but my own. because I simply did not go in and um, I didn't take care of them the way I should have. I had too many squash and zucchini plants planted around them, so they didn't get the ample sunlight. I have picked a good amount of cucumbers from my garden, so we'll see if I'm able to get another harvest of it. So make sure if you had any problems planting anything, let me know if you did that. And if not, if you did, let me know what it was so I can know if we had the same type of problems here. So just going back through my seeds, the broccoli, I know for sure. 84 PA. Oh, you're not far at all. I have a family member that lives in Pennsylvania. I did a garden for her. I'm actually going to do a few seedlings for my cousin. If you go back through my channel, you'll see in some garden glow up playlists, you'll see cousin Q. You'll see a garden that I had done for her over the years and that we're going to expand pretty soon. We have some cousin Q content coming up soon. So if you subscribe, you'll get a notification when that drops. I'm just looking at the type of turnips that I already had. So I had the purple glow white tops already. And I have rutabaga seeds already. I might combine these seeds in because some of them I'm hoping that you don't eat that either. All right, Rich, what do you eat? You planted, okay, Billy says that he planted peppers from seed. I planted a lot of peppers from seed. This is the only year ever that, not ever, but this is the only year in a long time that I didn't grow my peppers and things from seeds. Only because, life was lifing. So I had a late start. But I am going to start my fall seeds from seed. So hopefully that'll help me redeem myself from, not planting my own stuff from seed. What kind of peppers do you have, Billy? Kale. And then another thing I'm going to show you guys today, because this happened to me a couple days ago. I was going through my seeds and I hadn't closed up the seed packets very good. And I had like random seeds all around in my seed box. And I had to throw away a lot. But sometimes the seeds are so freaking small that you just don't know which is which. So you see in my hand, these are like red and yellow. Oh, that's nice. Do you end up getting a lot of bell peppers? Did you notice from difference from buying a seed in the store and from doing it from seed? When I buy my plants from the store, I feel like I don't get as many. Maybe it's like a mental thing, but just a tip: make sure you close down your seed packets very well, or else you can come back to a mess. So I had the dinosaur kale already. Oh, so one of the kales that I find is a um, kind of like a salad type of kale is red Russian because it's very leafy. See this here? It doesn't take too long. It's only 10 to 20, so 10 to 21 days of germination can be long, but like I said, I'm starting them indoors. Oh man, watermelon. I can't grow watermelon in the fall, Rich. That'll be a spring summer thing next year. A lot of people do grow summer winter squash, which is like butternut squash and stuff, but it's rounding out for the watermelon. My grandmother grew a bunch of watermelon in the south, and I had a cousin that grew a bunch of watermelon, and one of my friends, excuse me, one of my friends, Kim, she's normally in the streams on Wednesdays. She's growing sugar baby watermelons. So those are, compact in size and you can pretty much eat one in one sitting. So, yeah, watermelon, you're a watermelon person. What vegetables do you like? Okay. So Billy says that he took his yellow pepper plants, he seeded them from seeds that he bought from a yellow pepper in the store. So a lot of people do that. I actually want to try that, um, just to see if it's going to work for me one time. So I don't really eat a lot of bell peppers. I use it in food for like seasoning, or I use it in different sauces. But I did hear of a lot of people doing that. Some people, they used I like to be prepared, as you can see. Oh, what's happening here? Am I going to have to restart? If you can still hear me, give me a thumbs up. Let me ask. Okay, I see it's back. So I've been having a lot of connection issues. So I'm just making sure that everybody can still hear me. I have 3 people watching now. Okay, so it's still working. Perfect. So, like I said, what I'm going to do is, just so I don't misplace anything, I'm just going to sit here, look at the different seed boxes I have, and I'm going to put the seeds that I purchased. So, Beyblade times, is it better to start seeds inside or plant them outside? It really depends, right? So, a lot of people want established plants by the time they go outside. They're not patient enough to just simply toss seeds out. And a lot of people still have their summer gardens going. So if you still have your summer gardens going, how are you starting them outside? There's no space for them. So people who have summer gardens and they know they want fall gardens, a lot of people wait until they have space. So they'll start their seeds inside now so that they have established plants by the time they take out their summer stuff. So that's one of the things. That's why a lot of people plant their seeds inside. And a lot of people just like the planting part of it. So they plant their seeds inside. So I am going to say that it is best to plant your seeds outside in the soil so that you don't have to transplant, and transplanting meaning move it from one seed cell to the ground, because sometimes plants don't they go through what they call transplant shock, and they don't do as well. So a lot of people plant their seeds, they directly sow them outside. I do a little bit of both. So where I have the space now, I will, you know, plant some seeds in the ground. But what I'll also do is I'll start some seeds on the inside to um, thank you, Rich, for telling me I'm good. What I'll do is I'll start seeds on the inside so that as I take plants out of my spring summer garden, I'll know exactly how much space I have for my fall garden. So thank you for the question, Beyblade Times, aka Aaron. Everybody stay tuned for Project Burgess. Beyblade Times will have her own video soon. She started her summer garden, and hopefully we'll have her with her fall garden pretty soon. Any other question? That was a great question, by the way. So I'm going to take some time to hydrate, and I'm going to put away some of my seeds in their proper container. So I'm going to put my mustard seeds away, but I'm going to leave them out on the table. One of the things I also want to kind of show you is, I didn't buy any is these seed trays. So I use them year over year, right? So you'll notice that they have a lot of dirt in them. So by the time I start planning out and using these trays, I'll clean them. So I'll go in, I'll wash them out, I'll clean them out real good. Um, just because, you don't know if there's going to be cross contamination from the prior gardening season that you use them. Um, these ones where I'll probably put like the bigger plants like cabbages or broccoli, they're brand new. I haven't used these before, so I don't really have to clean those out. And if I wanted to, I have smaller trays that I could use. Let me just show you that. How do I take seeds out and put? Oh, so okay. So Billy, he says he takes the seeds out, put them in a paper bag, wet, and put them in a coffee can, heater, and oh, okay. I might actually try that because I'm all into trying experiments. So that's actually a pretty good trick. I might try that. What I used to do for carrots is I used to put them in on a wet paper towel, and I used to put them in a Ziploc bag, and I used to tape them to the windows in the sun porch, right? Because we know that carrots don't germinate very well. And I used to wait until they grew long roots, and then I would use my little tool. I would go out, poke holes in the ground just to make sure I wouldn't have to thin anything out. And I used to put my carrots from the bag very gently into the ground. So that's another trick if you ever want to grow some carrots. Um, so awesome, awesome. That's a good trick. I'm actually thinking that I might try it just because, like I said, I love trying new things. So, like I said, let me just make sure I get these seeds back into the containers, just to make sure I don't lose anything or misplace anything. If you guys have any favorite seed companies that you like to use, let me know in the chat. A lot of people simply buy from. Oh, thank you for joining us, Billy. Make sure you subscribe and tune in for more gardening content. I'd love to see you in another live stream. You have a lot of great tips and tricks. So I'll see you the next time, hopefully again. Maybe I'll, do another live stream on another day when I'm free. So, oh, you got a love for all vegetables except for lima beans. I'm a little iffy with the lima beans. My grandmother makes some great lima beans. I would never make lima beans on my own just because I don't think that's my jam. That's not my thing to make. So I don't have any, didn't buy any broccoli here. Let's see what else I have here. Kohlrabi. I didn't buy any kohlrabi. Beets. What did I do with my cabbage container? Oh, okay. Collard greens. I'll put my collard greens up. What exactly is my jam? So my jam, what I like to do is I like collard greens, and my jam is to make collard greens. Like I'll cut them up, put the right, seasonings in there, and that's my jam. That is my jam, okay? I use certain phrases just because I just like to say certain things. So if you ever hear me say that's my jam, that means that I really really like doing something. If I say that's not my jam, that means that I just not don't like doing it. Okay? So broccoli, turnips. I'm looking for my mustard. Oh, here we go. So yeah, what's your jam, Rich? What fall vegetables or what vegetables do you like, sir? So short kale. I miss. You also have to be careful because I think I put some of the seeds in the wrong container. What's the best time to start collard greens? You want to start collard greens. Um, you want to have seedlings before your frost date. So, like, you want to have established plants in the ground, right? So, if you have established plants, as long as they're in and they're big enough, I would say you want to have them planted out in your garden, not while it's too hot, because if you have 100-degree and consistent 90-degree weather, if you don't have like a shade cloth for your plants, don't put them out in the sun because they'll bolt. But a best time to start your collard greens is right about now if you're going to start them from seed indoors, so that by the time they're out in your garden after you've had the seedlings and they're hardened off. So right about now, about 10 weeks before your first frost date. Oh, thank you, Billy, for th- telling me about my carrot trip worked for a couple of years. So hopefully it'll keep working. I cannot find my cabbage container. I'm gonna just leave them out on the table. Okay. I'm gonna just put them. So I'll put all my seeds away. Bless you too, Billy. All right, Rich, you like watermelon. What vegetable do you like? If you like vegetables, I know do you eat broccoli? That might be your fall vegetable. So that might be your jam. Watermelons is Rich's jam. How about that? Perfect. That's your jam. So One of the other size trays that I usually use, and I usually use these for summer stuff, but I'll show you anyway, is hi, you want to come on out? Yes. So, one of the things that I plant for my summer is you'll see that I have like the smaller trays where you put 6 in there. I do have to clean these out. So you can put 6 in here. I probably won't use them for fall because I don't have a whole bunch of plants and I don't like potting up plants. So potting up is when the container or the seed tray is so small and the roots get established, and then you have to keep taking them up sizes. So you can take them up from this size and put them in a tray like this size. But then there are also plants that are in this size container, and then you can pot those up too, right? So I don't like potting up plants. I find that sometimes it's a waste of potting soil and things like that. So any of the plants, what I may do is any of the plants, and I may do a video on it. Any of the plants that I'm actually going to start outside where I have space, and I put it in a container. I'll probably put them in a container no smaller than no smaller than this. So like I I save if I buy a plant from a store, I'll save the container just so that I can use it later. So like I might grow beets or something. How do you make your Swiss chard? Like what do you do? Or is it like I'm thinking Swiss chard must be an acquired taste. I'm thinking could be. So I'm probably going to clean out these. I do have some pots like this, even larger, right? And I'll probably align them all at the bottom, outside, in front of um my sun porch where I have a whole bunch of things. Another thing that I use is that I want to try for the first time ever, and let me just grab it real quick. So, and I might wait till summer next year to use these. Has anyone that does not do hydroponic gardening ever used these little um, Rockwell starter plugs? I was thinking about bringing them out for the fall, but because I'm not really sure how they're going to do, I may not take any chances. So I may simply wait until the summer, but they seem kind of delicate. So if I don't use it now, I'm not sure if it'll be any good next year. So maybe I'll try a couple of these just to see how it is. I purchased some pepper plants from like a pepper geek, not pepper geek, but I purchased some like Carolina Reapers and some super hots, and I noticed that they germinated them in these little rockwood starter plugs. I've never tried it, but like I said, I love trying new things. So I might try this. Um, oh, look at you. You got a friend. Rich has a friend who also loves watermelon. What kind of watermelon do you grow, Billy? He likes all watermelon that are red. If it's a yellow or orange watermelon, Rich will not eat it, right? He will not eat it. All right. So we've been online for a bit today. Beyblade, if you're still online, can you tell me what time you're coming to pick up your mint today? I'll be around all day long, whether you see cars in the driveway or not, because we're doing some things today. So let me know what you like to see. I'm gonna put some of these seeds back inside of my little yellow and orange watermelons are fake and can't. You're outside where? My house or your house? Or outside? Or you outside uh having a day, if you know what I mean? Because if you outside my house, you can walk around to the back and join the live stream that way. Stack everything here. So what I'm waiting for to come in the mail, just because I don't like to. Oh, you hear that, Rich? They said be adventurous. Be adventurous and try different watermelon. Steamed broccoli with Velveeta cheese melted over it. Grilled chicken. Oh, that sounds good. Okay, Billy, let me find out you're a connoisseur when it comes down to cooking. So not only do you do gardening, you do cooking. Um, a little hidden fact that some people may know, some people may not know. I'm a little connoisseur with cooking too. I like to try new things. I like to cook new things. I take a lot of recipes from online and I make them my own. I add things, I take things away from them. My dad was here and I made a zucchini bread, and he said it was one of the best things that he tasted in a long time. I also make, come on in, mute, mute. All right. So Beyblade, you turn off.
I want to be creepy, just like barging.
Oh, come on in. We have a visitor today, y'all. You want me to mic you up?
No, I'm good. You
No, come on over. We got a visitor. You muted?
Yeah. I'm still letting it go.
Just put it in, yeah, put it in the kitchen.
I don't know if they were outside too long.
No, that's fine. Get me here. So Beyblade, aka Aaron, bought me a little gift. You see this? Carolina Reaper peppers. Come on over. All right. Everybody say hello to Aaron. Here's my friend. I'm teaching her some stuff about gardening. I'm gonna let her promote herself a little bit. Rich wants to talk to you about some Rich Black Man shirts.
Oh, okay.
So Aaron here, Rich Beyblade, is she's the person. She does my merch for me. So I have my shirts. I have different colors. I also have. I've been testing out my little sweatshirt here. So this is like a little shameless promotion for Beyblades here. So I'm gonna put you in contact with Rich Black Man, and my dad needs some karate shirts.
Okay.
To do some things. So she came over to pick up some mint that I did for her.
I need the mint.
You need the mint. Okay.
Need the mint.
And we're gonna go trim some mint out of my garden for her. So what I'm gonna do is, because we've been online, and with you, Billy, for a while, like I said, make sure everybody, if you're in the stream, make sure you come online, hit the bell icon, subscribe so you can get notifications. Go back and look at other garden content and new garden content coming, so that you can get familiar with the mic static. Turn your mic off so that you can get familiar with the garden. So just make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time. So make sure you join the stream. Tell me what's in your garden. I'll tell you what's in my garden, and we can share together. All right. Have a good time, everybody. And thanks for joining.
I don't know if I turned it off.
Bye.